Okay, first of all, I want to say, first and foremost, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you who have been leaving comments, to all of you guys watching, you guys supporting me in this kind of this episode series and just in these stories, and you guys who are finding inspiration in this, new people who have been here for a long time. Just want to say a big thank you, and I appreciate you all so much. You have no idea. But today, today, by the way, I'm at this really cool place right now. And this is what actually inspired me to make today's episode. Because you guys see me traveling all the time. You see me traveling from, since I've been vlogging, I've been in maybe 20, 25 countries in the vlog, and much more before I started vlogging, for the 8 years before that where I was overseas. And you know, when you see this, you really look like, Luke, it's so easy for him to travel, and so he adapts really well. He understands people. He just gets along. He makes friends real quick. And it wasn't always like that. I always was really cool with meeting people, even though if they weren't interested in me, I was great. I wasn't like so scared to talk to them, but I was always interested in people. I had this curiosity about people all the time, just wanting to know. And when you're curious, that's when, for me, that's when the world opens up. The second that you're curious. And for me, it wasn't always like that though, because when I went to a new country, I was so nervous. One of the main things that people ask me now are, Luke, I'm gonna go there. What do I need to know? Or what do you think on this if I go there? And so many of them, I'm very careful with how I answer those questions. Let me see if I can walk in here. Ooh, it's cold. And I'm very careful how I answer those questions, because I think everyone needs to experience it for themselves. So I hope in today's episode that you'll understand that it wasn't always like this for me. Like I say, being here, this is so different. So if you guys don't know, the first time that I ever went overseas, the very first time, I signed a deal to go to Australia. That was my very first trip that I went overseas. It was the first time I went on a plane for more than 4 hours. It was a 31-hour travel time from Cleveland to Melbourne, Australia, where I would live for 2 years. But the one thing people don't know is when I first arrived in Australia, I came there in the winter of America, which brought me to Australia in the summer, and the 2 days of time travel with the time difference and time change, it was overload for me. It was the first time I've been away from, like, I knew my family couldn't be here in 8 hours if I wanted them to be. And I was excited that I signed a pro contract, but I was scared. I was nervous. You know, and I tell people, you know, because everyone didn't understand, you know, so many times, I'm sure so many of you guys go through this where you're doing something and everyone's like, you're living the dream, that's so easy. And you're just like, they have no idea. Like, okay, I got the deal to go to Australia, but I didn't know anyone in Australia. I knew one person in Australia. That's it. One person. And I was going to be so far away from home. And, you know, the first time I got there, they gave me the keys to my house. They gave me the keys to my car. And, okay, and I had money. So you're like, okay, everything's fine. But, like, inside, I felt, like, so lost. And the first night, my very first night in Australia, I remember getting in my home. We finished practice. There was no practice, actually. I closed the blinds, because in Australia, all the windows have the metallic blinds that you can just close. If you're from Australia, you know this. And I cried. Not even gonna lie. I literally cried. Here I am, 22 years old, I believe. Finally got the pro contract I wanted, and I was in another country, and at the same time, it was just so much to take in. You know, there were so many, like, what ifs, there were so many fears, there were so many, like, I was questioning so many things. And, you know, it's when some of you guys ask me questions, so many of you guys send me emails, so many of you guys leave comments on here even, and tell me about your experiences, you know, and I know a lot of times, because so many people even phrase it this way, like, Luke, I know this might bother you, but how is it when you go there where you know? And it's like, of course, there was a time when it wasn't so easy just to jump and change countries. You know, so many people, you came in during the vlog where I'd already been overseas for 8 or 9 years. So to give you guys context, the first time I got overseas, I was nervous. I was scared, I didn't know what to do. And when you're a pro athlete and you arrive in a new country, the teams don't care if you don't speak the language. The team doesn't care if you don't like the food. The teams don't care if you don't get along with the people there, or can't communicate, or struggle. And you're there to perform. So for me, it was just like, I have to just like get through this. I have to just focus, and I need to be able to play basketball at a high level, which I ended up doing. But the transition was not easy for me. the transition was very difficult. And, you know, I always have to put this in context for you all, because some of you guys are doing something, whether it's you're traveling, whether you're starting a business, whether you're starting a new relationship. These are all things that I've been doing the last 6 months. But this is true, that the beginning isn't always easy. You know, I think I said in yesterday's episode, the concept of the rocket ship. You know, the rocket ship takes off and uses 80% of its power to go, and then 10% once it, or 15 or 20%, whatever that is, once it breaks through the atmosphere and they're in space. But so many people see, as you guys watch the vlog, of me traveling and moving, and you know, I got to the point after I started traveling, I didn't book anything. So even when I'm going somewhere, even when you guys saw me the last time I caught a plane was into Kuala Lumpur, I didn't even have a hotel. There was nothing even booked until I got there. And this is how I was traveling all the time, because I just got the hang of it so well. And so many of you guys are doing so many new things. I know 2020 has been so crazy. As I told you, and I'll say it probably all the time, all of my backup plans, literally A, B, and C, were all canceled. All of them wiped out, just like this. And as soon as the airports closed, it was done. And you know, throughout that time period, you know, there was a lot of like, I don't know what to do, and panic and everything. And I totally understand if you felt that same way as well, like what's going on. But you know, always I remember that time when I got back to Australia. You know, this is a moment that I remember, and I encourage you guys to go back in the history of your life, of something that you didn't think you could get through, something where you got there and it was so like on your mind, it was so much on your mind you couldn't even think, and it was overwhelming maybe. And then look at how you got out of it, how you dealt with it. And for me, this story is very important to me, because when I tell people this, they don't believe it, you know, because they see, well, you look so, like it's so easy for you, but it wasn't. It wasn't always easy, and I really had to keep at it. And this is why I'm so adamant about trying to help so many of you guys and do my best to share my journey with you. Because if I think back, if I would have been filming that and you guys could have saw me arriving in Australia and being excited, but then at the same time being like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? You know, as you guys know, I'm here in Bali right now, but there's so many times and everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky to be there. But there was a huge uncertainty. When I flew back here in March, I was the last one in the airport. I was the last flight that arrived here that night, and no one was there. So it's like, yeah, it's Bali, but all of a sudden they're closing the airports, everything's shut down. And there was this huge like panic, and it made me really flash back to, if this had happened 10 years ago, I would have freaked out completely. And this is what always gives me the inspiration and the motivation, is you all who write me like, what do I do here? Because so many of you all are going through very similar things. And I hope that just my stories of you guys understanding that the first time I got overseas and I felt like that, this is literally, this water falling right here, that's how my eyes were when I first got to Australia. It was literally like that, and it was a slow process of whoa, I think it's about to storm here soon. It was this process of really understanding that when you get somewhere, it's always difficult, very rocky in the beginning, but then things open up. As you start to open up, to open your mind, change your perspective on things, that's when everything starts to change. So if there's a lesson that I can get here, is if you're going through something right now, you're going through something that's tough, think about me in Australia. And everyone thought that it was a dream and everything was great, and it was. But there's a part that was really difficult. And to hide that, to not share that, is, as I said yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, it's not sharing a very vital part of your journey. And the big vital part of my journey was when I arrived in Australia, which is like a dream on paper, that I was scared, I was nervous, I was sad, I didn't know what to do. The unknown was so scary. So you all going through the unknown now, I hope that this resonates with one of you guys from my story. It's something that I'm dealing with all the time as I take on different endeavors. How is it raining? The sun is out. The sun is out. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like the sun is out and it's raining. It's like one cloud. But I hope, okay, maybe here's a little bit better. But I hope that throughout my story and what I share, and as these next episodes come, and this wasn't even supposed to be today's episode, but I was here, and this just seemed like right place, because everyone sees here as so easy and fun, and that's awesome. But it wasn't always like that. The first time it happened, I was nervous, I was scared. So any of you guys feeling nervous and scared with whatever it is that you're working on, it's normal, it's okay. You embrace it, you understand that I'm not scared of this, I'm still doing it, I'm still taking the action. And my action was still going out and performing as a pro athlete when I first got to Australia, in practice, in the games. And it was understanding that over time, as you get used to it, you become stronger. So it doesn't get easier. As I arrive in different countries, as I'm traveling, it doesn't get easier. I remember arriving in Bulgaria, and I didn't speak Bulgarian. I speak a little Russian. That's about it. But it was scary. But you just learn how to deal with it. Because you're stronger than you were before. It doesn't get easier. You get stronger, and I'm sure you guys have heard that before. But on that note, I'm actually planning today. I'm actually giving a speech to a university in Poland, so I'm really excited for that. I'm gonna try to understand what's going on with this weather because the sun is out, but it's raining. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you guys for your support. Please, if you have a very similar story, so many of you guys I know have lived overseas, and you guys have so many more stories, please leave in the comments below. I'm reading all the comments, especially on these videos the next however long is up, 28 days. Share your story, and I'd love to hear from it and respond to you guys. And on that note, I'm going to get out of this heat, enjoy the what's this called? The pool. I'm gonna enjoy the pool and relax. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support, your comments, messages, and emails. And I'll speak to everyone later. And everyone, always remember to work hard, be brave, and don't forget to smile. Ciao.